My name is Kara Capone. I'm the CEO of Mercy Housing and Shelter, which is an affiliate of Community Housing Advocates and my sister's place. So welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Just a very few brief remarks. It's been 40 years and we're here today to celebrate 40 incredible years of Mercy Housing doing some amazing work in Hartford and Middlesex counties. And had it not been for the Sisters of Mercy, we who had the vision and the forethought and the passion to see a need and to meet the need. And that was 40 years ago. So 1983 was the beginning of Mercy Housing. And for folks who remember, the 80s were a time when there was unprecedented homelessness. It was something that the country had not seen before. And the Sisters decided to step up and do something about it. So a big special thank you to the Sisters of Mercy for founding Mercy Housing and Shelter. So thank you. I'd also like to thank our board who helped sponsor this event tonight. So a big thanks to them. And a big thanks to all of our volunteers and staff who helped make this day possible. So thank you to everybody. I do want to say that this celebration is dedicated to the individuals who every day overcome their housing barriers and in turn inspire those facing similar circumstances. And so when we think about the folks that we work with, they succeed, they move on. Homelessness is something temporary. We aim for it to be brief, and we don't ever want to see them again be homeless. And so those are our real goals when it comes to the services that we implement at Mercy. And so for a lot of folks, you know some of our programs, but you don't know all of our programs. And we have a lot of programs. So over the past 40 years, we served well over 100,000 people. Sister Pat would say probably around 200,000 people. We've probably served more than the population of the city of Hartford at this point because it's been so long. But some of the things that we do day shelter, we've done emergency housing and shelter, we have our Friendship Center soup kitchen, we have our community food pantry, we have our respite program for people coming out of psychiatric care who are homeless. We have our women's recovery program, so we provide a safe place to stay for people, for women who are in treatment from addictions. We were one of the first organizations to do HIV and AIDS housing. Back in the day, when we started doing HIV and AIDS housing, it was to make sure that people could die with dignity, that they weren't stuck in shelters. And today, it looks like we're inches away from a cure for AIDS. So, I mean, to think about where we started and where we are now is incredible. We've done transitional housing and also did housing for veterans, permanent supportive housing, homeless diversion, prevention, rapid rehousing, and our newest program is the Haven. And the Haven, thanks to the Daughters of the Holy Spirit, they opened up their convent for us to occupy and to use, and we serve 10 youth who, would have otherwise been homeless after graduating from DCF care. And so now we're working with these 10 incredible young people, really helping them to learn how to grow up, which they didn't do in their foster care system. And we're learning together with them on how to best work with them to become independent, good citizens in the community. So we're very proud of that program. So the other thing I wanted to point out, and I know everybody hates statistics, I'm just going to give you a little bit of statistics because this report just came out today. What we've done with all of those programs that I described, it's working. And without your support, we never could have done that. So statistics in Connecticut, from the National Alliance to End Homelessness, from 2007, when we started tracking these things, all the way to 2022, Connecticut's total homeless population decreased by 35%. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Those who were unsheltered, meaning they were living on the streets in Connecticut, it decreased by 64%. And for people who are considered chronically homeless, these are people who've been homeless year after year after year. These are the folks that sometimes when you have stereotypes, these are the folks you think of. They're living in encampments, they're living under bridges. In Connecticut, we were able to reduce chronic homelessness by 89%. That's outstanding. That's amazing. So thank you for supporting my efforts. What I can say is homelessness is solvable and we can end homelessness. And I think making sure that people hear those messages are incredibly important. So as far as where we're going, so we're going to continue to do all of the good work that we've done. As an organization, we have grown organically throughout the years, where we've really seen what's the need in the community, what are we seeing in the front lines, what are we seeing in the soup kitchens, who's coming into the food pantry, right? And so some of our direction is going to be based on what we see in the community and figuring out how to meet that need. So we're going to focus on elderly, affordable, supportive housing going forward. That is a drastic need in the community. It is the biggest need that we're seeing right now. People are coming in elderly and disabled. And you can actually, when you come into our day shelter, at 8 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday through Saturday, we've got at least 15 people lined up with relators and walkers who are coming in because they are homeless and they are food insecure. So that's one of the focus areas that we're going to be working on. You know, it's also been exacerbated by the pandemic. A lot of people who are on fixed incomes could not go through the increases in rent, in food. Inflation really took a lot of people on fixed incomes for a complete loop. So we want to focus on that population. We'll be launching a capital campaign. So we have a lot of buildings, we have a lot of services, and when we looked over the next 10 years, we need a lot of improvements. So we're going to be focusing on launching a capital campaign within the next 12 months, more details to follow. We're going to be continuing to provide evidence-based services and trauma-informed care. And for those of you who don't know, it basically is a way of seeing which services work best for what populations we're serving. And so we'll continue to focus on that. And the other thing is the trauma-informed care. The vast majority of the people that we serve have trauma histories. They have been victims of violence, victims of domestic violence, neighborhood shootings, assault and battery, abuse and neglect, right? And so we want to make sure that we're delivering our services in a way that will help and benefit the folks we serve the most. And then we're going to continue to grow our outreach. We started to grow outreach, but we're really seeing the need on the streets. We want to end chronic homelessness, and so we want to do that by meeting people where they're at and trying to continue those outreach services. And ultimately, we want to end homelessness, and I think we can. So I want to thank you all for your support, for your dedication to our organization, and for believing in us, because together we can do this. Thank you so much.